in the red ding dong. You put the ooh mama back into my smile shine. That is why in the red ding dong, baby. Put the ooh mama back into my smile shine.
Greetings, peeps, and welcome to History of Rock and Roll Online. I'm really excited to have you join our course, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun together. Let's just start out by talking a little bit about the course itself. Essentially, this course is a survey of American rock and roll music with some brief deviations into counter or alternative cultural musical influences. It is by no means to be considered an exhaustive survey of the history of rock and roll, but we do cover the basics and root histories of rock and roll, as well as explore the history of rock and roll from its earliest origins all the way up through present day. So by not being exhaustive, I mean we don't get off into every single branch of what might be considered popular culture or music as it relates to rock and roll. So just understand, we're going to be talking about mostly classic rock and roll and its origins, but we will be delving into some of the more alternative forms and newer forms of rock and roll as we progress on through the course. There is a textbook required for this course. It is an online text, and you cannot successfully pass the course without it. You gotta have it. So if you have not already done so, you need to purchase the online text. Please do that as soon as possible. The sooner you purchase the online text, the sooner you can begin reading the materials, listening, viewing, whatever, and completing the assignments on time. Again, I have to say, you cannot successfully complete the course without the online text. It's impossible. All the assignments, reading and writing, listening, quizzes, all of that, and exams are found on the online text. You gotta have it. I will be producing a series of lecture vids similar to this one, except probably not as lengthy as this one, where I cover specific topics related to what we as a class are going to be discussing or talking about. But be aware that there are several resources available to you on your online text, such as lectures, vid lectures, and video presentations. So I encourage you, avail yourself to those. We'll talk more about the details of your online text in a bit. There are two types of discussion topics available to you. The first one is found on your online text under the heading of Let's Discuss. And this is where the entire class should participate. This is a great opportunity for you to voice your opinions with respect to certain genre of rock and roll, and also to find out what other people are thinking about rock and roll specifically, or specific to the music that we are listening to in our course. The second type of discussion topic is found on our e-learning D2L site. And while the online textbook discussion topics are mostly what do you think type questions, the ones related to our online text, the ones that are related on e-learning, those are more specific to your own thoughts and ideas about rock and roll and specific types of rock and roll. So you'll see what those are all about once we get to them. While there is no direct grade associated with either the e-learning or online textbook discussion topics, you should still do them, because this is called participating in the class, and participation is part of your grade. So please do participate in the online discussions, both the Let's Discuss on our online text and the discussion topics found on our e-learning site, such as the one you just completed, most of you, regarding introductions. So all of this participation, this idea of participation, is based upon you taking the initiative to participate. And that means completing assignments, all assignments, including the discussion topic. The second type of discussion topic is found on our e-learning site. And again, those are the ones that are more general in nature, such as our first topic, introduction. So you'll receive ample notice when discussion topics on e-learning become available. So our course is structured in the following way. Our course is divided into 13 sections. And within each section is a series of classes. Each class ends with a quiz. So be ready. They're short, but it does end with a quiz. Within the framework of these sections are 4 written assignments and, of course, a midterm and final exam. So you've got quite a bit going on. I try to make it as light as possible. I try to give you at least a week to 2 weeks to complete your assignments. So make use of your time wisely. Our course is 100% online. So with respect to attendance and grading, understand that this 100% online asynchronous course means that we don't have any regularly scheduled physical or virtual meeting times. You work at your own pace based upon the online D2L detailed course calendar. You got to have that. You got to take a look at that too. So just be aware of when things are happening, because the detailed course calendar tells us a great deal, as you'll see when we begin talking about it further. But it contains each assignment's start date and end date. So just be mindful that that resource exists for you. With respect to taking attendance, you do not need to take your own attendance. Let me say that again. You do not need to take your own attendance. I will do that for you. Your attendance is automatically recorded every time you log on, every time you submit an assignment, every time you participate in a discussion topic, every time you communicate with me. Those are all counting towards your attendance. So that means you've participated in the class. Remember my motto. Participation is every bit as important as correct answers, okay? So you got to be there. You got to do the work. As long as I see that you are logging on a regular basis and completing assignments regularly, you will be receiving full credit for your attendance. However, if you are not logging on regularly, if there are huge gaps of time between assignments and completion of assignments and quizzes and so forth, then I'm going to be reaching out to you and we might just have a problem. So please be consistent. You're paying for the course, you're studying the course, use your time wisely. My advice is do not wait until the last possible moment to turn in an assignment, because anything could happen. Please remember, your grade is solely dependent upon how much time and effort you put into the course. You don't put in a lot of time and effort, you're probably not going to get a very good grade. You put in enough time and enough effort, I see this, you're going to make a great grade. So I do not permit make-up exams or late submissions of assignments. I don't permit early submissions of assignments. You must go according to the detailed course calendar. So please make use of this resource and please budget your time wisely. This course is structured to give you ample time to complete assignments. So I try to give at least a week to 10 days, in some cases 2 weeks, to complete assignments. So there should be no reason why you need to wait until the last minute. And then I get the dear professor email saying, I was just about to submit my work and it turned from 11:59 to midnight and all my work was lost. Well, you were warned, right? Please Get your work in before the deadline. Don't waste your time. Use your time wisely. Budget your time. Read the material. Submit your assignments on time. Take the quizzes when they are offered. You'll make an A. Trust me. So let's take a look at navigating around our e-learning site and our online text.
Okay, so let's have a look at e-learning in D2L and our online text. So when you first log on to e-learning, you'll be brought to a page that looks very similar to this one. Yours might look slightly different just because I'm faculty and you may have a whole lot more courses that you are enrolled in, or you may only have one or two, so it just depends. But you'll want to go over to History of Rock and Roll, MUS 119, WWN870, and click on that. And then you're going to be brought to a page that looks like this. And this, of course, is our e-learning D2L homepage for our course. And you see here the news and announcements window. And you also will notice that on the lower right-hand corner of our homepage, there is a calendar. I just want to point out that while this is a resource, this is not a comprehensive calendar like our detailed course calendar. So just be aware. This is okay. It's all right to look at this, but this is not the same thing as our detailed course calendar. That is found on the content tab. So if you go over to the content tab, you will see on the left-hand side all of the modules to our course and the course syllabus, of course, and required materials, all of that. But let's take a look at that detailed course calendar. When you bring that up, you're brought to a page that looks like this. Note here, it has all of the sections of our online text. It has when these sections begin and when they are due. You'll note that the first section is due coming up here pretty quick on January 24th. And all of these sections have classes within them, and each lesson, every single lesson, ends with a quiz. We're going to take a look at this in just a minute, but I just want you to be aware of some of these things. And also this shows you where the written assignments are, and it shows you when the midterm is and when the final exam is. So just please use this resource. Now let's take a look at our online text. When we click on that link on the textbook, online textbook module, we're brought to our online text. And what I encourage you to do is to keep two windows open, both our e-learning and our online text. I'm going to pull that detailed course calendar up again just so we can be able to take a look at it and our online text. But just notice section 1, there are 4 lessons. Section 1, 4 lessons. But the way our text is laid out, it just goes numerically through all of the lessons in our online text, all the way through to lesson 45. I have grouped them into sections, so you can I would encourage you to take advantage of the detailed course calendar for no other reason than to look at how these are grouped together to keep yourself organized and on schedule. All right, so if we look at the very first lesson, Ragtime, Popular Song, and Jazz, you have a getting started thing where you can look at this if you wish. It isn't necessary, but if you want to, I encourage you to do that, but you don't have to. Let's take a look at the first lesson and notice how we have an introduction, Broadway and Ragtime. These are all the topics that are going to be discussed. So let's just take a look at this first one. And notice here that you have some tools available to you. You have a lecture, that you can listen to. You have quizzes that you can give yourself, keywords, listening guide, downloads, just a host of things that can be made available to you. If we click on this, let's just see what happens.
Ragtime, popular song, and the jazz roots of rock. This lesson addresses several types of popular music from the first part of the 20th century, all of which can be considered predecessors of rock. Popular songs from Tin Pan Alley, vaudeville shows, and Broadway musicals flooded the market in print, while early sound recordings and live performances of jazz drew a significant listenership. As we will see, audiences became increasingly receptive to listening and appreciating African American popular music forms, especially the genres of ragtime and jazz. In addition to these popular forms of African American music, Tin Pan Alley and Broadway songs were also popular with audiences in the forms of sheet music, early recordings, and live performances.
Okay, so a good resource. Let's also just take a listen to this lecture.
Introduction. Before the advent of recording technology in the early part of the 20th century, most people consumed popular music in one of two ways. First, they participated in oral traditions, passing down...
So just be aware that the lecture is just reading about everything that you see here, okay? So it's reading the book to you. And some people, that is a real help to have the book read. You can have it read while you follow along. So if you are in need of something, a guide or a help or an assistance for that, by all means, please avail yourself to every one of these tools that's made available to you. Navigating around your online text is very easy. You can see these orange arrows. You can go up, down, and right to left. Going right obviously advances you to the next page. Here we have a description of Broadway, and we talk about musical form, we talk about ragtime, and so you might want to just sort of take a look at how how music is organized into sections. And you also might want to take a listen to some of the links that are made available to you. Every time you see a link, you can click on it just to listen to what's there. Now this is going to bring up a Spotify.
I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who could ask for anything more.
So if you don't have Spotify, you can sign up for free and listen to it. You do not have to subscribe or pay a subscription fee. You can just use it this way. I use Spotify on a regular basis, and so I'm sure many of you do as well. But if you don't have Spotify, I encourage you to go ahead and get an account. It is a very useful music recording and streaming service. Okay, so that's essentially how our text is laid out as you continue to move forward in the text. You can see there's all kinds of musical examples related to various artists. Louis Armstrong, for example, is featured here. If we continue forward, we get into swing and big band music. Notice how some of these things are brought back to use again. This is just referencing for you. For example, I Got Rhythm. You can listen to it again, but it isn't necessary unless you just want to hear it again. Again, the only reason to do that would be to continue to familiarize yourself with what we're discussing. This is the precursor to rock and roll, folks. I know it seems like we're only looking at jazz, but jazz and blues are the precursors to rock. That's how we got it. So you do want to familiarize yourself with it a little bit so that you can open up the discussions with respect to and reading and understanding of rock and roll as it relates to how we know it. And then we have a quiz. So let's just take a look at what the quiz is like, if you have not already done so. Here we have a true and false. New Orleans jazz included tenor and alto saxophone. Well, if you click on true and you hit submit, it is going to tell you whether you are correct or incorrect. So the correct answer here is false. So just understand you have lots of attempts here. You could even start a new preview if you want to, but if you do start a new preview, it's not going to give you the same questions. It's going to mix those questions up. Benny Goodman frequently purchased big band arrangements from Scott Joplin, Paul Weichman, Fletcher Henderson, Ira Gershwin. Well, you know, if you don't know the answer, I would encourage you just to give it a try. He frequently purchased big band arrangements from Fletcher Henderson. So there you go, folks. Just give it a try. Again, if you start a new preview, it's going to give you new questions. During the 19th century, most American homes had pianos for all of the following reasons except sheet music to play on the piano was affordable and accessible. Making music was considered an acceptable pastime for young women. The competing publishers or Tin Pan Alley drove the price of sheet music down. The Industrial Revolution made pianos more affordable. So think about which of those would apply. Now, if you haven't read the material, you're not going to have an answer. But just understand this is how the quiz is organized and laid out, and it's pretty straightforward, and you can see your answers correct or incorrect as it happens. If we answer the question incorrectly, we're going to get a red check mark or a red X. So there you go. Okay, so not much difference in the rest of our online text, but I wanted you to note we have a dashboard link. If you click on that, that's going to bring you right back to the beginning of our text and all of the sections that we find therein. So please avail yourself to every single resource that you can. And I hope this has helped, but obviously if you have questions, please email me. Okay, so as you can see, our online text has a great many resources available to it, and we will have some wonderful resources available to us on our e-learning site as well. So please take advantage of these items, use them wisely, and you're going to get a great grade in here. If you blow everything off and wait till the last minute and you're just giving me random answers at the end, just hoping for some credit, you get what you get, right? So that's the way things go. So please budget your time wisely. And if you have any questions about course materials, stuff that we've learned, stuff that you're confused about, shoot me an email. Having said that, please remember, I do not respond to emails on the weekends, only Monday through Friday. So if you email me after 5 p.m. on a Friday, you're not going to hear back from me until the following Monday. All right, folks, I look forward to getting to know each of you, if only through cyberspace. Again, shoot me questions through email. I'm happy to answer them as best I can. And yeah, let's have some fun exploring some good old rock and roll. Have a great week, and I look forward to working with you.